So very good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Warm welcome once again to Instahiring 2020, Asia's grandest TA tech experience, hosted by Talview and sponsored by Microsoft. We are truly delighted to have you all with us. After an amazing day one, we are excited again to listen and learn from a power-packed lineup of global speakers who are eager to share with you their thoughts and insights on key issues faced by the TA community. I'm sure you got plenty of opportunities to connect with your peers and leaders from across organizations and industries these 2 days. For our first keynote today, we have amongst us a woman who has changed many lives. She is a human resources industry leader and amongst the top 10 thought leaders in future of work in the world by Blue Jeans Network. Ladies and gentlemen, to speak on women, power, and their future, we have Nabomita Mazumdar, Ambassador to Ministry of Women and Child Development and the founder of Nabomita.com. She is the winner of the Top 100 Women Achievers Award by Ministry of Women and Child Development. Today, she is a brand to reckon with, as is evident with a large number of visitors she gets on her site every day. I think we must, with a huge round of applause, congratulate her for all the awards. Please join us welcoming Nabomita.
So thank you so much for beating the Bangalore traffic, probably even skipping on your breakfast if you'd had to, and being here to listen to me today. Thank you, Talview, for inviting me to speak about women and future of work. It's really an honor to be in a forum like this amongst every global speaker and talk about women. Absolutely, I can't thank Sanju enough to open up the platform, that too early in the morning on a day two, to talk about stories that probably would make you think or make you look at things with a different lens. So allow me to take you through. This is just a recap to what you have already heard yesterday. You heard about future of work too many times. Again, yes, we start today with the first jargon, and that's called future of work. And we just don't stop there. We also share a report by PwC. Yes, just as you are a fan of reports and data, so am I. So that's how I bring this to you early in the morning. These are 4 segments which PwC have divided the industry in order to define how the future is evolving. Just for the convenience, they also have integration, collectivism, fragmentation, and individualism. Those are other segments, but largely the blue one, the one that in the corner, is the segment with the organization that have stood the test of time, right? The IBMs of the world. Nothing shakes them up. Then there is green, the Tesla, right? The companies who are changing the world with their environment-friendly, environment-intelligent products. And then we have red world, which is the exact world wherein one product is built to kill the other, right? Flipkart did very well, so Amazon came in, so Walmart bought Flipkart, and now Mr. Ambani decides to give everybody a tough time. So that's the red world. But then none of these meet any of the standards which the yellow world is building. What is the yellow world? What are they creating? They are creating products which is going to be used by human beings. Rest of the products are used by whom? Okay. Why is this world different? Because they are building products which are probably a refrigerator. When you open it, it gives you the BMR rate so that you know which food to pick. Or an Ola app that allows you to choose whether the driver is going to be a she, a transgender, a man, or even auto-driven. So that's the yellow world, which is building the products of the future for human beings, not just technology. Waves of automation, you know it better than me, right? Augmentation, right? The first wave, wherein we just had data on Excel sheet, and then the data got smarter. The data started giving us reports, and then it reached wherein drones in a warehouse can fly right to the point where they need to deliver the product. So that's the 3 waves which again PwC had defined. And why are we talking about this early in the morning, right after talking about industry segmentation? Because you know what? Somehow, all those 4 big segments, which stood the test of time, which are evolving with time, which are built for future, are affected by these 3 waves, especially the one that is waiting for us in the future. Why? This is why. Those 3 waves are impacting jobs of different sectors, different segments, different demographies. First, we take a look at the sector. Transportation won't be affected by the first wave, where the data was just collected in the Excel sheet. Not much. Second wave, yes. Third wave, oh yes. The jobs we will see change. The changes in the transportation sector will happen there. Manufacturing, similar curve. Construction, administrative, almost similar. Finance, interestingly, had a different curve because initially the data that was collected was already there. So they might have been impacted in the initial phase. Second phase, yes. Third phase, that's the sector wherein human beings will remain unaffected by the technology that had been built, because they are way ahead of the technology that was created. It was created by the yellow sector. It was created for them. Obviously, same for education. Education will get affected mostly by the second wave, wherein, yes, all these automations and Baijus of the world might put teachers in scare. But you know what? Just hold on that thought. The last segment that you see, education, first wave, least impact, second wave, highest impact, and third wave, least. The reason why I'm saying this is, I'm going to share you a story of somebody which is connected to this particular data from PwC. Why are we talking about it? Because most of the time when we download all these PDF from internet and we read it, in the back of our hearts, we know that we live in India, none of it is going to affect us. Come on, we are insulated, right? Let's look at it. This is the demography. The first is the gender, right? Men are not going to be affected by the first wave. Second wave, yes. Third wave, they will wake up. Women, first wave, oh, definitely. The jobs of taking calls, come on. That's you no longer need a secretary to send mails, right? You have a bot. They are going to lose such jobs, oh God. Second wave, again, yes, they will lose jobs. Third wave, that's when you need empathy. That's when the jobs for the future of women is coming. That's where the future lies. Do we need to believe it? We will hear stories why we need to believe that. Second is obviously the age group. Initially, the young people are not affected by the first wave. Second wave, yes. Third wave, big time if they are not prepared. The core group and the older group, yes, the third wave will affect them if they are not prepared. Why and how? We'll look at it. Education, if you see the last one, the high, right? Over there, the first wave affects them a little, second wave affects them the most, and third waves barely. Why? Remember the finance example? Remember the education example? Remember those? That's exactly what is going to happen. The technology that is being created for future won't affect the jobs of future. It will only affect the jobs currently or probably sometime more, not after that, if we are prepared enough. New collar jobs, people from IBM know it better than me. So they are the ones who probably coined and used it till it became overused word in the industry. And what are new collar jobs? Well, these jobs are being created as the necessity arrived. There was no education for it. There was no training for it. There was nothing around it, right? Most of these jobs were not even there 6 to 18 months before they were put in the job sites, and suddenly there were 1,800 jobs, 1,700 jobs for each of these categories. What is happening? What are these jobs? Remember those fine last phase, which was evolving? So people who are prepared to take such roles, which are being prepared on the go, are the ones who will not just take this job, excel, and probably create even smarter jobs than this. The reason why I'm here, women in future. Before you all find it boring, let me share. We're just 5 years away from this. Are we prepared enough? Are we working enough? Are we there enough? Just 5 years away. Not much time left. When the report came out, Live Mint and everybody were talking about, we knew that, oh my God, we have so much time. Just 5 years, the clock is ticking. What does this say? Where does most of the women force, right? This is Global Entrepreneurship Monitor, and this is essentially data about how women are being involved in entrepreneurship segments. Highest segment, right, if you can see, is maybe physical infrastructure, internal market diametrics, all these things might see. What interesting was, when we look at women, right, high-paying jobs and all, you know all those data, right? 63 years we will take to reach that pay gap, to close that pay gap. Most of us might not even see it, or even longer period of time, all those things. Why are these things happening? Are we not hiring women enough? Were women not a part of workforce enough? Were they a part of a workforce which definitely contributed but did not contribute to the GDP of the nation? Why was it happening? This explains. The Global Entrepreneurship Monitor that you see, and this one explains, the highest participation is in agriculture. Yes, they are free to take up any role there, but none of it adds on to the GDP. Industry and services are lagging far behind, and that's exactly where the salaries do not match up, and probably I do not know how many 163, 200, 300 years it will take. So we do not know if this data will remain valid even 100 years from now. And as we talk about the urban India, since we are here, let's take a step back and let's also go and look at how things are changing. Why the agriculture sector, the part over there, if you remember, why it is so high. And if it is so high, is there any way that we can actually create a better future utilizing this segment of women who are already there? So this is one initiative by the Ministry of Women and Child Development, wherein 1,600 entrepreneurs, women entrepreneurs across India, brought in quality product which could match any competitor from across anywhere in the world, and they showcased it in Delhi. This was almost a celebration that went for 5 days, and it trended on Twitter. It was well celebrated in media. What were we doing? All these women entrepreneurs bought their produce, and they showcased it in here, and we realized that we had same amount of global standard product being created in places which is Bharat, not India. All what we have to do is to connect the two. The farm to fork definitely is a great idea, but that alone will not work. We need far greater footholds for such women entrepreneurs to bring in their produce and create a greater distribution of wealth. This is one initiative. As we talk about building women entrepreneur, building wealth with women, creating a better future, reaching those that number we are just 5 years away from, remember? How do we do it? Do we just focus on their earning part? Do we just focus on their education? Do we just make them earn? Or we take few steps back and we realize, why don't they earn? Why don't they never reach that level? This was an initiative, again, by the Ministry of Women and Child Development called We Are Equal. This initiative was not just meant for the tier 1 cities, not just meant for the celebrities and who's who of India. It was meant for men living anywhere in India. And we reached out to tier 3, tier 4 cities. Probably you may not have heard of, you may never hear of that city until unless it trends on Twitter or there's a news about it. And men from those cities were telling us why they think they are equal to women. An initiative, right? We are not pushing anybody to study. We are not pushing anybody to sell something, build something. We are just trying to understand, why do men from anywhere think they are equal to women? The two kids over there, they are a very active you can say trailblazer from a startup community, and they shared their message why men in that community think they are equal to the women entrepreneurs in that community. Why do we need such expressions? Why do we need them to speak out loud? Why do we need them? Because in a room, when a woman enter, be it a corporate, be it a startup, be it a Bharat, be it anywhere, the first thing that you got them to do is to make them believe that they are in the same platform. They are exactly who you think you could have also been if you had their level of expertise and education. You just don't want it happening other way around all the time, right? This was again an initiative wherein 350 kilometers of marathon was covered by 100 women in 4 states, right? India is a nation, has earned a reputation, I should call it, sorry for the word, of unsafe country, right? Travelers are scared to come to India. It's such a, we don't really want to go everywhere. 350 kilometers, these 100 women marathon in the month of October, when it was September rather, when it was not really cold in those states. Nothing happened to them. Few of them were differently abled. They really completed it, and they reached out to different places, understanding how the world is changing in India through this marathon. Right? It was not just one sport activity. I'm grateful that I was a part of this marathon. And you know what happened? We were taken to places wherein my GPS did not work. I'm telling you, I checked if I could check where exactly am I. No, my GPS did not show me where I was. And a 20-something lady came up, and she told me she's paying her premium using the money from her business, which she created through Mudra loan, which she has already paid up. I live in Mumbai. I don't know how many in Mumbai can come and give me a success story like that. To me, it matters. To me, it matters not just because she said it, because she said it from a place wherein obviously none of us might be able to identify, and she is setting a precedence for all of us as we move across those 4 states. Communities, right? You know this word too well, and you definitely know that structure. The one dot in the mid, right, is the person who believes to bring everybody together, and then there are people, the other pink dots that you see, who are probably aligned to a certain extent, and then there are connects, and that's how a community is built. Right? It's so simple. Is it productive? Does it really work? Does it help? The lady on the top, the one in orange sari, with specs and holding the mic, her name is Revati Roy. What does she do? She lost her husband, and then she realized that, she wouldn't be able to take any job, and she would want to do something else, something different. So she started driving cars, right? And as she started driving cars, she realized she can create livelihood for many women like that, and she started training women under the, not below poverty line, but under the earning level, trained them with a driver's license to drive cars initially. She created a very successful company which she exited called Veera Cabs, and then she created another one called Hey Didi, which is into last mile delivery, wherein women from all these segments are not just given a license, they are also given a bank loan, a vehicle of their own, and without any collaterals, essentially, and an opportunity to earn for the rest of their lives. What is this? A community, a thought, an opportunity to bring in a change. A woman, probably whom most of you, no offense, but the fitment issues might come in, so most of you might not even think of hiring. Goes and create a company which Uber connects to bring in 10,000 women drivers. The second lady there, a mother of 2, right? And just as it happens, a mother is always, necessity is the mother of invention, they say. A mother is the necessity of every invention, I can say, is important. Her kids' education she was not happy with, so she started creating a community. What did she do? She brought in the teachers. to share their lesson plans and create a portal wherein they can just discuss their lesson plans and make the entire education quality go higher up. So what happens? There are teachers across India, somewhere from village, right from village in Rajasthan to a village in Tamil Nadu, they're sharing their lesson plans, creating disruptive content for kids who may not have access to computers, softwares, or something as sophisticated or even costly as that, but a super high-powered next generation education opportunity. Remember that slide from PwC which says the least amount of jobs will be lost in education in the last segment? We are heading towards that. Teachers would not be losing their jobs. The education system would go higher because of disruptions like this, because of products like this. Minded, she is still not funded. She's bootstrapped. She's still building the community. She has been acknowledged by Hindu Business, Education and all. Her community awards teachers across India. Last year, her award ceremony was at BAC Sensex. And well, she's just creating more and more successful stories. Another friend of mine, she was a banker in New York, and then she had a baby. She decided to come to India. She creates a Facebook community, something that you do only when you're bored, or probably you don't do it because unproductive. But her community creates millions of connections, and then what happens? Mark Zuckerberg seeds her product. Think of it. A mother whom you probably will not hire because it doesn't match the fitment that your job would require, can build something which Mark Zuckerberg would open his wallet for. This was final year at XLRI, wherein I was shown the kind of communities that could have been created, and I was not really happy with it. So I met Dr. Madhukar Shukla. If you're from XLRI and you know him, you know why it happened. I told him, sir, I did not like the communities that I have heard. He said, why don't you build something on your own? Create something which is open, virtual, anonymous, free to use. Anybody can come and ask any question, free to download. I loved it, right? And being an MBA, not an engineer, I did not create it. I searched it online. I found SiteHR. I logged in just as you might have logged in on Facebook as a member, right? First day. And then in 6 months' time, I created the first offline chapter which spanned across India in international cities as well. And through that, I got connected with the person who was building it. And then that began the journey for me of creating an HR community from 5,000 to 4 lakh by 2010. Back then, I mean, just a point, in 2006 when I started, community was not exactly a word we used. It was Yahoo groups. It was not a product. It was definitely not a media tech product which VCs would fund. In fact, most of the time, even in post-2010, when I would say that, when people would ask me, what do I do? And I say, oh, I work, I'm from SiteHR. They would say, oh, you're from SiteHR. So what work do you do? So what is your work? I mean, kaam kya karte ho? So good enough. 2016, we were 3 million in Alexa ranking for HR communities. We were ahead of PayScale and US government website. A dream run through which I could serve millions worldwide, and this day happened to me. Building a community from my living room without any funding. I'm not an engineer, not an IITian, and yet living this day. This is what I do right now. After 2016, I created another platform for evangelism, and I build online communities for different sectors, right from retail, banking, logistics, community of every size, 4 million, 20 million. We have done it all in for last 4 years' time. It's been a dream, bringing people together, bringing people to the kind of future that they are trying to create, and understanding that anything is actually possible. Why exactly did we share anything like this? I'm really grateful to Sanju, I'm repeating again, for allowing me to share these stories, because I understand y'all will, at your level, y'all will have a lot of diversity, inclusion plan, budget. International Women's Day is coming. I'm sure you all will have great Zumba sessions and great dinners and lunches for your women employees. Just take a second and just let yourself believe that somebody could have created a Facebook group and got funded by Mark Zuckerberg. Somebody could have just drove down the street and created a company which Uber would have wanted 10,000 drivers out of, and somebody would have been disrupting the education segments. I leave this day to you. I leave the thought to you. And to every woman in the room, if you are in that journey, of creating something bigger and brighter, or if you're struggling, then just look into the mirror and say, mirror, mirror on the wall, I'll get up each time I fall. Whether I have to climb or I have to crawl, I'll stand and I'll stand tall. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Nabomita. I'm sure that has been a truly, truly inspiring journey. Let's all together give her a round of applause for that. Congratulations and thank you. I'd like to invite Parimal to please hand over a memento to Nabomita for the amazing work that she is doing and continues to do, I think. Congratulations.